In any community, you're going to find a person or people who put a lot of time and energy into making that community better in whatever form that takes. My guest today is Margaret Reid, and she just happens to be one of those people. Welcome to Small Talk.
Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hello, everyone, and I'm going to say Happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you all have a good day. I'd like to introduce my guest, Margaret Reid. Margaret, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Now, I know you're very involved with the community, right?
Yeah.
So tell me some of the things that you do for the community or with the community.
Yeah, for sure. So my formal role is a community builder with United Way, which began during COVID, and more recently I was doing flood response with them as well. But a lot of my volunteer work kind of precedes that. I'm a co-founder and board member of Chilliwack Citizens for Change. I created and helped run the food hamper program Extra Fare, which was through Bowls of Hope. It was a food program for people with restricted diets. Okay. And then I also am the president of the Downtown Chilliwack Market Society, and I'm on the board for Pride as well.
So I want to know is when you had time for all of those things?
I'm also a mother of 3.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And I work part-time at the book ban occasionally. So,
It's a balance, right?
It is. It's definitely a balance. But it helps when you're passionate about everything that you do.
Absolutely. And I think it helps that we have more people involved in the community in whatever form that takes. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. All of those projects that I mentioned, they have teams behind them full of passionate people, and that helps a lot.
Okay, so let's talk about the market, the downtown market. How long has it been running?
Last season was our first season. So I guess a year.
And how long does it run for?
This season it will run from May, I believe, 27th till September 18th.
Oh, okay. Now, do you already have it all booked with vendors, or is it still?
We're
open?
releasing our application today, but we have already had all of our core vendors have reached out to us that they want to come back, and I've already started recruiting vendors as well. I can't help it.
No,
when I'm in all the shops downtown, and I meet like artisans, and I meet vendors, and when I meet farmers, especially through like the flood relief work, I'm just telling them all to sign up.
So is there room to expand there?
Oh yeah, I think a lot of the expansion that we're looking at is in terms of food security. So the market put out about $4,000 of our own sponsored money through the market in market cash to the community for food security, and we did about almost $8,000 in nutrition coupons from the government. So we're looking to expand that always. This year, because we don't have COVID, we can do things like kids activities, community booths where you can meet your elected officials. We were only allowed to have performers since halfway last season. So we can start doing more things like that. And we are like working with the city to look at ways that we can kind of move, but we do want to keep it food focused, high quality, and just in that Pick Eco parking lot as our home base. Because that's what the BC AFM markets are supposed to be, food focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. So, okay. Because, I think that's a good thing. Whatever you have there is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I love it.
Yeah. Now tell me about your flood relief. What did you personally do?
Yeah. Well, I did a few different things. Through United Way, I had the opportunity to connect people with small scale grants to do flood relief projects. So for example, I helped a local group that was helping migrant workers connect with translators and the consulate and get immediate needs met, like suitcases and things like that. We were able to kind of give a small scale grant for that. We did all sorts of things. We did an open skate for the public for youth mental health. A community member from Squaw First Nation planned that. And then kind of on my own as a private citizen, I work a lot with Squaw First Nation, and we noticed that when the food shortages hit, when the shelves were empty because people were panic buying, there wasn't, their elders really didn't have access to food, and all the trucks that normally came in from other parts of the Lower Mainland with donations, they weren't able to make it in. And SQUA actually supports members, as I'm sure people are aware, on and off reserve, and many of their off reservation members were directly impacted by flooding. So we were noticing food security issues. And so we kind of put together a local fund just as a private citizen. I helped, and we went through the health director there, and we raised over $5,000 in just over 24 hours.
Nice.
And the really cool thing was we used that money to buy directly from local farmers that weren't able to get their products to market. Yeah, so it was a win-win for everybody. They gave us a little bit of a good price, but we have farmer connections, and they were able to kind of help us get that connected meat, eggs, milk, things like that to the community members that wouldn't otherwise have it.
Very nice.
And then we quickly, so that was just me as a volunteer, and then we very quickly pivoted to use United Way, like those small scale grants and the official things to kind of support community projects. So
right. Now, have you had any follow-up with say the migrant workers or the farmers, like anybody giving you any feedback afterwards?
With the migrant workers, a lot of their contracts ended on December 27th. So most of them had to ride out the flood, and a new round of workers are coming in now. So we are, the local people that are invested in that, and I'm still supporting them. There was a quick group thrown together called Migrant Workers Advocacy Group, MWAG, involving advocacy and translators and people who understand those labor issues. Mm-hmm. But I would say everybody worked together really quickly. One of the things that we noticed right away was that migrant workers weren't eligible for the Red Cross funds that were going out because it goes based on address. And so the farmer, of course, is the primary address. So they would get the aid, and then additional people that had to use that address weren't eligible. Mm-hmm. So MWAG, as well as myself, through United Way, and we advocated with Emergency Response BC, and we were able to kind of flag that, and they were able to quickly change that as well. So
good. That's good to hear.
Like it's very responsive. I found everybody working in flood response is very needs-based, emerging needs, very responsive. And that's why it's important to talk to the people that are like the most impacted and the most marginalized, so that you can bring those needs forward.
Right. No, you mentioned you're part of the downtown. What was the whole name? Downtown improvement?
Chilliwack Citizens for Change.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm getting things mixed up. Yes. So
yeah, no worries.
So what is that all about?
Oh, that is such a great group. I love them. We started during the last civic election to promote progressive candidates on the election, on the roster for election, and just kind of to talk about progressive issues, because there wasn't really a space on Facebook to do that. And then shortly after the election, we thought, well, this is such a great group, let's formalize things. So we created a society, and we have a board, and I've been on that board for some time now. And basically we just take on advocacy as it comes around. So we've done climate action education, we've done nonpartisan free transportation for voting polls. We've done things like CCFC was actually how we created the food hamper that we ran. We helped coordinate all the volunteers for the Salvation Army Food Hub during COVID in the early days, when they had to get volunteers to deliver around town. We have a group of people in the group that actually work on the housing crisis.
Right.
And we actually hold a seat on Chilliwack Healthier Communities. So I sit on that. We are a partner in that, which is my favorite. And then we sit at the poverty reduction and citywide gardening tables and things like that. So.
Right. I'm just scared of thinking about, you have a part-time job, you have 3 children, what do you do? What is your job, by the way? Your paying job?
Yeah. So with United Way, with community building, I'm so lucky I get to do this, but basically we get to go into a neighborhood and identify community champions and community needs, and we get to support them with resources and small scale grants. So my contracts are with the area near Scrapper Station, as well as in Sardis, because Sardis was identified as a community that has less infrastructure or resources for communities to be connected. And so what we do is we kind of get to know the community and reach out to people that are active there and advocating there, and we work with them to plan events and different things that will make their community more connected.
Right.
And we kind of help develop those people into community champions.
Right.
It's such a fun job. I love it so much.
Well, that's what helps, right? I mean, I talk to people who enjoy what they do, and there's such an enthusiasm that comes when you speak to them. You know,
Yeah.
it kind of, for me, it rubs off. Like, I love hearing when somebody loves what they're doing, gets me all excited for them.
I know all my projects are passion projects. I make the joke that I don't really work. I just get paid to do what I'd be doing anyways, honestly.
Sounds wonderful. Now, how old are your children? I imagine they're all in school.
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Okay, so was there a time when they were homeschooled during COVID?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it was pretty hard. And it's actually funny. I got my United Way job, and I was working full time for the first time since maternity leave, from home, while homeschooling them, for about 1.5 years during the pandemic. And then we were actually, our rental house got black mold, so we had to move out on like a week's notice.
Oh my
And we
goodness.
ended up completely without a rental because it was COVID.
Right.
And so we ended up moving up to one of the summer camps up near Cultus Lake that didn't have people in it because of COVID. And we didn't have a fridge, and we didn't have Wi-Fi. And we did that for a couple months. So COVID has been an adventure in this household.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You know, I mean, I've been fortunate because I haven't been affected by it really. You know, I still get to do my show. Just changed,
Yeah.
you know, mostly on Zoom, which is really nice, you know, for me anyway.
It is nice, and it's really accessible for a lot of people who might not be able to get in otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was going to ask you a question. Now it's just gone out of my head.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, I just forgot what I was going to ask you. Do you have any, oh, here we go. Do you have any new projects coming up? Whether it's something you're already involved in, or, you know.
Well, planning is underway for the market, so that's the big thing. And then we are also starting to plan the Pride Festival for downtown for this year. And then I have some really cool projects with United Way that we're working on. Things like I have some community members that are doing like chopped competitions in their neighborhoods. And we're looking at connecting the OAP Hollands artists with some students to help share life skills like board games and card games that are kind of dying out, and knitting and things like that.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and the citywide gardening project is really cool as well. There's a lot of new things on that front, and we're looking at some sort of program to match people with maybe people who have space for a small garden box with people who don't have the space but want to garden across the city. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I can't remember the person's name, but I interviewed somebody, the Guerrilla Gardener, and she encourages people, whether you live in an apartment building, whatever, get permission from the council to put a garden in this lawn space, which I think lawns should be abolished.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's wonderful. I love, she's fantastic. She does a lot of good work here in town.
Yeah. What's her name? Can you remind me of her name?
Brenda.
Oh, right.
Brenda.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. People ask me all the time, who'd you interview? I sometimes forget, you know, and then I see their name is so, oh yes, I remember you.
Yeah.
But anyway, this has been a lot of fun. Again, it's always fun for me, again, when somebody's so enthusiastic, you know, about what they're doing, because I love doing this, obviously. So I'm glad you got some things coming up. I'm glad about the Pride Parade and the market and all the other things. So now one final question. Do you need people? Do you need to ask people to get out there and help or volunteer?
Oh, always.
So
always.
Okay. So if you do, how would they contact you, or who would they contact?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it would depend what you want to help with. If you want to help with Pride, you can go to the website. And I do believe that there is information on how to become a member of the society. And then if you're a member of the society, then you do get information on, you can get information on when our next meetings are and things like that. We can send you the Zoom link. You can also shoot them an email, which is on the website. For the market, we always need volunteers. We always need volunteers, especially because we can have things like kids activities. And we need help running those sorts of things. So you can go to dccm.ca. And there is an email address on there. You can reach out to us and we can connect you with our volunteer coordinator. And if you're a connected Sardis community member, and you have an idea for a project and you'd like to hear more about a local love grant to make that happen, or how to work with me to kind of help make your event happen, you can always shoot me an email.
Okay.
Is it easiest for me to just say it?
Yes. Yeah.
I never know. Margaret R. So MargaretR at uwbc.ca.
Okay. Is that the email address I used for this?
No, we
Oh,
use my personal email address.
Okay,
I only use that one for United Way things.
Okay, so give me that. Oh, I'll get it after I finish this. So, okay. So we're going to end it on that note, but just stay on camera, okay, for a second while I speak to the audience. So thank you everybody for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. And if Margaret's on Facebook, but I'm going to include that address she gave me, that email address, if you want to contact to be involved, and just look up Chilliwack, like events or certain, what I want to say, like for the market or whatever, everything's there, I would think, on the Chilliwack City website, I believe. So thanks everybody. Again, I hope you get a chocolate today. I did. Well, I got some Smarties, so that counts. And peace out, everyone.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.